Hello everyone! So today I have a video idea that involves torturing myself. I'm kidding, not actual torture. Mental torture, yes, not actual torture. This is going to be a little bit similar to looking at old art, but instead of looking at old art, we're looking at my old fan fictions that I wrote on Wattpad. Yay! So, I have a few pictures of the different titles just to invoke, or the different pictures that you could put on the, like, oh, this is like a book cover, but really it was just some shoddy excuse put together in pic collage. Yeah, I have a few of those to invoke some memories, and if I'm good at editing, I might put it up on the screen for you, maybe, if I can figure out how that works. But, okay, a little backstory beforehand. There is one fanfiction, my original first fanfiction, that is no longer on Wattpad because I deleted it as of maybe a few years ago. The only reason why I deleted it was because it was very old and very cringy, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. Because I had, just clicked on Wattpad on a whim. Just, oh, how's my account doing? So, the story was called, I don't know what it was called, but it involved my first ever OC, which was an insert. It was not a self-insert. Yes, it was a self-insert. Her name was Avery Bloodwater. And this was for a Black Butler fanfiction. And she had her, if you know anything about Black Butler, this is gonna be a ride for you. And if you don't, well, different type of ride for you. So, I ended up finding the old snapshot that I took on my iPad when my first ever fanfiction about Avery Bloodwater hit 100 views. This was such an accomplishment in my eyes. I told my mom, I was so excited. Oh my goodness. As you can see, the cover is just an anime girl, and oh my goodness, the name will make sense in a moment. The soul for a demon, body for a grim reaper will make sense in a moment. The only thing I'm laughing at, really, is a Black Butler fabfic, but with all of the little accents and shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so let's read this. Let's analyze this. Oh my goodness. Avery Bloodwater had it bad. Being born into a rich family was nice, but watching your whole family die before your eyes was the tough part. After attending a ball where all the lights go out and the shadows speak, the light comes on to reveal all Avery cared for dead. Avery was 9 when her family was taken from her, but there's something else to the story. After selling her soul to a demon only to find out that after death she is to come back as the apprentice to a certain Grim Reaper named Grell. Ooh, wow, 15 story parts. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, I was so invested into this story. But, yeah, so that's the gist of it, I guess. That's Avery for you. So, Avery Bloodwater had her own demon like CL because something happened and she sold her soul to one. So I did find the old edit that I used to show Averys Contract seal, which she made with her demon. This is some edit that I threw together on pic collage. It honestly isn't that good, and I'm almost 100% sure that this art is copied and traced. So, yeah, that's a thing. But then, as she was trying to sell her soul, she killed herself, okay? And in the Black Butler world, if you kill yourself, you become a Grim Reaper, okay? So, she now is alive because her demon, I don't remember, I think it was Charles Goodwin was his name, Charles, I think. So her demon Charles kept her alive, but she's also half Grim Reaper now, and Grell is her mentor. Get what I'm saying? So that's also had the biggest pet peeve when people would follow the anime, not the manga. That was like one of my biggest things. I was shook from that. I was like, no, if I have any fucking angels in this Black Butler fan fiction, I'm gonna scream. Like, was not. So that fan fiction, that was my first fan fiction with Avery Bloodwater. She was my first. She's my first. I'm going to say I started writing that in 6th grade, and I think I stopped around 7th grade. And that fan fiction, oh my god, I was so proud because people really liked it. At least the Wattpad community really liked it. So I was getting at least 1,000 views a day and so many comments on it, and I was like, so proud of myself, my 6th grade self. I was like, wow, people really like my story, because even though Avery was a self-insert, she didn't really, I mean, she wasn't the kind of end-all, be-all heroine. She was just a person trying to make it through, even though she was hella cliche. And I guess people on Wattpad like that, so woo! But, yeah. And one of the funniest things that I think for me is that one of the arcs in the manga is it's when CL has to go to this college, or not a college, it's like a school, it's a university, they call it a university, but it's more of a high school, it's like a boarding school for boys. And so in the story, I did not want Avery to be put out whatsoever. I didn't want her to just skip over that entire arc, because it's important. So I had Avery, who had long, flowing red hair. I had her chop it all off and act like a boy. And this is the edit that I had at the beginning of the chapters of that arc, just to remind everyone that Avery was acting like a boy and had chopped off all her hair. Yeah, it's a big difference from that anime girl with long, flowing red hair that you see in the beginning of the story. Honestly, this fanfiction saw the changes in me. It saw the best and the worst side of me, and this is one of the things that I've found out about myself because of this fanfiction. So, I guess, secretly, I've always never been cis, I guess. Though I never really realized it while writing this, that I truly wanted to be a boy as Avery had, but at least this is a good thing to look back on and say, hey, maybe I never really was cis. So, yeah. But for right now, I'm gonna go through the oldest to the newest on my Wattpad library, and I'm going to skip over the Red Lace Hotel because that is one of the most recent ones, and I'm going to skip over The Witch and the Foxfire because that could be a whole nother video in itself. So, my oldest fanfiction on my Wattpad is X-Men Age of Deviants. Oh my god. When I got into X-Men, I got it hard, okay? And there's gonna be a few X-Men stories on this, okay? And that one, I distinctly remember, I wrote an entire cast, at least, I think there was, how many are there? 2, 4, 6. 2 girls, right? 3 girls, 3 guys. Oh my god. I wrote out everything for them. I was like, back then, I was so meticulous about characters. Oh my god. And with X-Men, you know, there's nothing really to follow. So then all of my heartfelt, all my planning went into the characters and the character design. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So me, nowadays, when I write, I will write out characters, and sometimes I leave things for characters blank, because I really like to get a feel for them while I'm writing, because it's all about how I'm feeling that day, or, you know, how I start to write the character, and then I kind of let my mind develop them as we're going along. I'm not one for planning in my writing nowadays. I mean, I'll outline some things, I'll outline chapters and things that I want to happen, but I am not a big planner. That's not my style anymore. So, Age of Deviance, that was one story. And, okay, so this is a Warring of Seraph, or Seraph of the End fanfiction. It's called The Story of the Lost Leftovers. And it was a great story, actually. I really enjoyed this concept. I only wrote 2 chapters of it. No, wait. I only published 1 chapter, but I wrote 2, and I did not publish the second. It stays as a draft in my Wattpad library. But I liked the concept for this. I just didn't know how to fit it in to the manga, so I couldn't work with it. So, at this time, I think I'm in 7th grade, I'm still very into Black Butler, very into anime, very into Black Butler in particular. I loved demons. I loved Grim Reapers. Those were my end-all, be-all, okay? Demon contracts and Grim Reapers, my end-all, be-all. So what I did in A Warring of Seraph, if you've probably never heard of it, it's a very obscure anime, so one of the main characters had over 7 near-death experiences, and they said this in one episode, and I said Grim Reaper. So, this story is about Grim Reapers, and it fits into the world in a way because there are demons, and there are seraphs, which are angels, and there are other in-betweens, and I said Grim Reaper because I thought that would fit in with it. And it kind of did. So what I put in was that the Grim Reapers were destroyed by one of the things in the anime because that's what they did. The vampires in Seraph of the End, they destroyed the demons, or they tried to, and then I said, wow, they tried to destroy the Grim Reapers too. That was one of my story plots. And this is the last Grim Reaper. That's why she's a leftover. This is the last Grim Reaper and her demon weapon. That's her demon weapons. She had multiple, because she would, like, pick them up like stragglers. She'd be like, okay, you're mine now. She was like the orphanage for anything, really. And I really liked this story idea, not in the Seraph of the End universe, but just something like that. It's a nugget of a good story idea mixed in with bad fanfiction. So, the next one is Don't Turn a Blind Eye. Oof. This is actually a kind of old one that did not hold up, didn't age well. Nope, not this one. So, Don't Turn a Blind Eye was about one of the OCs that I showed you in my art video, maybe, which was a blind or a half-blind OC for Warren High School Host Club. And they had the eye patch and everything, and that was their thing, and it just, honestly, the only story plot was just them being half-blind. That was it. That's it. Nothing else. I only wrote one chapter for it. Nothing more to say. Okay, so there are two, including this one that we're about to go over, there are two other Black Butler fanfictions that I tried to create and be better at and build off of. So, Black Butler, Vicious Bloodsuckers. Question mark. This is when I was getting into vampires, because demons, Grim Reapers, vampires, werewolves, they were my shit, yet I hated Twilight. So, so this again has a nugget of a good story plot shoved into the Black Butler universe. It was about a girl who was the queen of a hive. Bats are a lot like bees in the extent that they live in hives in caves. So, not like a hive, but like their pack itself is called a hive. So, there are hives of bees on cave ceilings, if that makes sense. I did research. So then I said, well, if it's a hive like a bee, then they must have a queen. So I made a OC who was the queen of a hive of vampires. And since bats live in hives, vampires, it's what I put together. So they lived in Manchester, I think, or they were in Oxford, one of the two. And CL and Sebastian had been hearing about, there were like kidnappings of boys or something like that in Manchester or Oxford or whichever, and they had to go and investigate because the Queen asked them to. So when they went there, they stumbled upon Corey, who was the Queen of the Hive, who had some history with Sebastian. And I was not going to make it romantic history, I was just going to make it friendship, platonic history, even though that's difficult for demons, but since she's a vampire, she's technically a part of Hell's Creatures, so they went together pretty easy. And the story is good, is what I'm saying. The story's okay. How I wrote it was terrible. The characters were meh. Like, what I did back then was I had great ideas and I executed them like shit. That's what I did. Okay, another X-Men fanfiction called X-Men: The 6 Principles of Mutation. This is another one. There's a theme here with those X-Men fanfictions. I created an entire cast of characters, and Jesus Christ, for the best of me, I cannot remember any of them. Oh my god, I can only remember Leaven and Nicki, and Leaven was a self-insert. And Nicki was based on one of my friends, so nothing more to say there. It was based on gods and goddesses and other shit that had to do with mutation, and I was pretty much trying to implement religion and science in the exact same fanfiction, and it didn't go well. Okay, so we are at the second Black Butler fanfiction. This is called Black Butler Dual Destiny. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the character's name who was in it. But she was I think she was a baroness. She was a baroness like CL, and she had her own butler, but the butler was a woman. And themes here with these Black Butler fanfictions. So, yes, that's all I remember. I remember she had a cat too, and she came in the murder mystery arc, where there was like a dinner party at CL's mansion, and they all kind of died. Yeah. My characters didn't die though, but that's all I got to pretty much. She was like I don't even remember. This is one of the ones where I don't even like this one anymore, because it was just like I was trying to copy my first one but make it better and have a better character, have a less self-insert actual OC character. But I couldn't. I mean, I wrote the OC better. I forget her name because she's so forgettable for me, because I just wanted to write a quick OC that wasn't a self-insert. And I literally almost copied the exact same thing that happened with Avery, except Avery wasn't a freaking baroness before she got Charles. This bitch was. So she was proper and fancier, and I don't even know. I remember Sebastian and her maid had a really big, kind of feud, because there was something going on between them in hell or whatever, but that's about it. That's all I remember. And in my other fanfiction with Avery Bloodwater, Charles and Sebastian got along pretty well. They were like chums, so I don't know. I just tried to add more conflict to it, I guess, but whatever. Okay, another good story, which actually I could probably continue. So this is, bless my soul, this is something that isn't based on a cartoon, anime, or comic. Ooh, these are based on This fanfiction is based off a book and a TV show. It's actually a crossover. It's called The Dust Spinner, and it's a Golden Compass and Merlin crossover. His Dark Materials was one of my favorite book series back in the day. I read all three of them in middle school. It's the Golden Compass, Subtle Knife, and the Amber Spyglass. Those are the three. I read them all. I fucking love them. And one of the reasons why I had such a passion, I still have a passion for that story, is because it was the first PG-13 movie I ever saw, and I saw it when I was 7 or 8, or still in elementary school. I shouldn't have seen it. I wasn't old enough, but my dad took me because I really wanted to see it, and one of my favorite movies ever since. My dad actually has a affinity for taking me to movies that I shouldn't see. When I won the science fair in, I think, 3rd grade, he bought me Avatar, the James Cameron disc, because I really liked the story. Good job, Dad. He just wants my best interest at heart, but he really likes, he likes to give me what I want, and sometimes I want things that are too old for me, and he doesn't care. So, but this story was very good. It was about a girl in the His Dark Materials universe who was a breed of witch, which in the His Dark Materials universe they had witches who were like masters of the dust, and they were masters of their demons, or I don't know. It's not spelled like demons, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced demons. I always called it daemons. Daemons. But anyway, they were like masters over their own souls and all this stuff, and I created a breed of witch called the Dust Spinner, which means that they had control over the strings of the universe and the dust, which I thought was amazing and really cool, and like they could like hold souls of each other in their hands because it was dust, and she was escaping from I forget what they're called in the books, but there were the people who were trying to take down the witches. This was like, there was like an actual witch hunt going on in the books. They didn't want witches, they did not want witches because they could mess with dust and shit, so they were trying to take them down, and so she was running from these actual people in the books, and she ran into a portal that she created with dust and ended up in the Merlin universe, which is something that can canonically happen in the books because the subtle knife, which is used in the second book, controls dust, bends it open to make portals, and can make portals into different worlds. And I put that together and I was like, Merlin crossover, obviously. And so this character, she ended up pretty much took over Guinevere's space, pushed this bitch out of the way, and I was so in love with this OC for the longest time. I think her name was Castell, if I remember correctly. I made it a romantic thing for Arthur and her, and that was only because, like, I really wanted to. I didn't like writing it, but I kinda did in my heart. But yeah, I had a lot of stuff planned for her. I think I wrote 4 chapters of this, maybe. And, each chapter was an episode in the show, because, again, so I would pull up the transcript of the show, or the manuscript, or whatever, and I would, like, go each line, and literally, there would be pages and pages of these chapters, and people would be like, oh my god, how can you write so much? It's literally because I'm copying the TV show word for word, like, no original ideas here. But I guess this is another inkling of a good story, because His Dark Materials is a part of it, so. But, oh my god. So, if you guys remember in my Exorcist my blue Exorcist, my character, Belladonna, she was all over my art episode, because I used to draw her every single day of my life in 7th grade. And I wrote about her too. I think I wrote 5 chapters about her, and again, they were just each episode. This was one that I did not follow the manga on because I did not read the manga first. I actually watched the anime first because it was on Netflix. So, but literally every time I was writing an episode, I would pull up the episode, I would watch it, and then I would pull up the transcript because when you pull up the transcript, it's like you have all the words, but you don't have any emotion. So then I would watch the show to get the emotion from it, and then I would create my episode. And Belladonna was Rin's technical sister because she was also a child of Satan, and she was the same as Mephisto, technically, because she was a full child of Satan, born to him, and not born of him and a human. She was just him. And she had come up to the surface with Mephisto and helped him create the academy, and she was, you know, just a part of it. And she had kind of never wanted to be an exorcist and was kind of against it until Mephisto told her that, you know, Rin was going to be there, and Mephisto used her to get to Rin, is what I'm saying. It was a very complicated thing, but indeed. I still kind of like Blue Exorcist. I like the story plot to it, and the voice actors are meh for the dub version, but what can you do, you know? And that is all that I took pictures of. Woo! So if I have good editing, you'll have seen the shitty covers that I made when I was in middle school for all of these stories. If I did not edit them in, take my fucking word for it. They're terrible. They're just basic anime characters plastered with editing and words on it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe I'll come back with another few videos about some old original story ideas that I had that were not posted on Wattpad. We'll have to see. Well, I love you guys.